right, so today we have a very special guest who is honoring us with his presence, Uncle Marty's shipping office in Ithaca, New York. Right in College Town, right by Cornell. And today we're going to have a podcast between my dad, the co-owner of Island Ship Center, and Uncle Marty. Take it away, guys.
Hey!
I'm with a legend. I feel like I'm a legend of like a superhero.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's actually weird because it's reversed.
No,
because...
absolutely not.
Yes.
You are my mentor and my BFAM. Hashtag BFAM, which is brother from another mother.
It's absolutely reciprocal, I promise.
It's amazing.
Yes, this is an honor. And I've been telling people that I was coming up here to just experience the store for a day and write down a ton of ideas. I've already got like a whole bunch of stuff written down.
But before you start, I did not win with the socks. I really thought these are my daughter's favorite socks, so I wore them today, and then Marty beat me. I think he beat me.
The colors.
You know, I will compete with you on most things, but you will never win the sock game.
Whoa! Thank you for your humility, Marty.
I'm just kidding. No. Every convention we're at, like the
I know.
sock game
I
is
try.
awesome. Yeah, no.
I try so hard. Every convention we're at, I never win.
No, you always do.
I do not.
That was just playing.
Okay, great.
But your son.
Continue. We have a whole bunch of questions. It's just these are like my favorite socks because my daughter loves them. So every time the one who's married, she's in Houston, and every time she comes visit me, she goes into my sock drawer and wears these and borrows these. It's her favorite. It's one of these things. But we're not here just to talk about socks. Fun fact: Fahim's grandfather sold socks in India, which is what his last name means. So for those who don't know,
seller of socks.
FYI.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think you know that fully.
Of course.
One of the first things I learned.
Right.
35 years ago, whenever we met.
And we're talking about the industry.
Yeah.
And I'm 29.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the industry, and we're talking about growth, and we're talking about persistence, and we're talking about consistency, and all these terms that we talk about in business.
Yeah. Authenticity. And we're talking about compassion and how it relates into and integrity. So it's not just enthusiasm and intelligence, but it's also integrity. Why does applying integrity into business, something like honesty and doing the right thing when nobody is looking, why does that have such a powerful impact on businesses today in 2022? Let's talk about that. Because I hate to say it's rare, but it's becoming more rare, especially as businesses get bigger and more uniform and franchise, whatever it is. That personal touch where you're coming in and you know who owns it, you know what they stand for, you know what their mission is, and you know that that's an authentic mission, it's not some canned thing from a corporation. I think that's becoming more rare, and people respond to it, and they want to support that, I think. But like we were talking earlier, like what business advice would you give?
Yeah.
And we were talking about authenticity, which is super important. But I would say like part of authenticity is not compromising your core morals, your core like who you are, like your own honesty, your own how you treat people, just to make a buck. Because that's so easy to do. It's so easy to say, well, oh, we can let this slide, or we can make a little bit of an exception here because it would be a lot easier for us or whatever. But that, it's like the gateway drug. You do that, and then the next thing is a lot easier to compromise on, and before you know it, you've compromised a whole bunch of stuff, and you're not who you started out your business to be. So I think that's really important. Just be very careful, keep yourself in check, not to start letting little things slide, because little things lead to bigger things, and that can snowball, and then before you know it, you're not the business you thought you were.
Well, it's kind of what we were talking about, transactional versus relationship.
Yeah.
And, you may start off as a relationship business, and then you compromise on one thing, and the next thing you know, you've gone to a completely transactional business, and you're like, what happened? Because at the end of the day, what do we say, Marty? Relationships is what brings in money. Not transaction.
It is relationships. When you start a business, building those relationships, we said earlier, that's your reputation does not start right away, but your relationships start right away. And once your relationships start to build, then your reputation starts to get ground. And before you know it, you have a very strong reputation in your community. And those relationships are what built it one by one. And what we were saying is, like, as a business gets older, and like as you get a staff, and as your staff grows, and maybe the business owner isn't in front of everybody all the time with every single transaction, that relationship is so important to keep up. Like training your people, making sure that through a mission, through whatever it is, whatever your core beliefs are, that your reputation remains at the level it was before.
So it's really easy for that to start to slide as you get bigger and as your staff grows as well. But reputation is very important to keep intact, and you do that through each relationship.
I talk a lot, whenever I talk to students and give talks, I talk a lot about one of my favorite sayings from Aristotle, and I'm consistently thinking about it very recently because of what you just said about compromising your core beliefs and making sure you don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I talked last week to some students at the Niagara Culinary Institute. And I told them, I said, if you wake up in the morning and you don't make your bed, your entire life and day will be incomplete. If you don't, it's just like brushing your teeth. Your morning routine defines your entire day.
Yeah.
If you tell me that, because one of my childhood friends, we in Detroit, you're gonna bring that. We landed in Detroit, and he picked us up, and he said, oh, I don't have to make the bed. I'm gonna come back and sleep in it at night anyway.
Yeah.
And I didn't, out of respect to him and deference for the fact that he waited more than 45 minutes to pick us up at the airport, take us to his house for dinner, bring us back to the airport, and drop us off at the flight, I didn't say anything. But what I wanted to say is, well, why do you brush your teeth? Why do you do the repeated tasks? Why do you flush the toilet? I mean, excuse me, why? Then the same exact logic applies. Why do you do all those things if they're gonna have it? It's because we as human beings have to strive for excellence and authenticity to define who we are.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I didn't make my bed this morning, but I kind of regret that now. No, but I totally
Hashtag
understand what
TMI.
you're saying. No. Well, Lewis House, who we both follow,
Yes.
always talks about that as well. It's just that little, this part of my day is done, we're wrapping it up, and now I'm in this mode. It's like, remember when we went to that convention, we saw Todd Herman talk about the alter ego effect. He has a pair of glasses he puts on. When he comes into his office, glasses come on, this is the mode he's in. He goes home, glasses come off, bracelet comes on, he's super dead. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I read his book, by the way, it's very good.
I use that strategy for parenting.
Okay,
and it works.
It's kind of compartmentalizing your day a little bit, but you just got to understand the role you're playing, especially when you're at work, you're the face of your business, you're in your community helping. It's just so easy for lines to get blurred. And
of course it is.
I speak from experience, severely.
Of course it is, and it's also
a reminder.
Another thing we talk about is our morning routine.
Mm-hmm.
I told them to shut off their phones at night, put them on airplane mode, or at least put them on completely off, where they only have the alarm go off. And in the daytime, when you wake up, make sure you finish your morning routine, whether you are meditating, exercising, brushing your teeth, making your bed, and having breakfast, and then checking your phone as the first thing that you do.
Mm-hmm.
It will make your brain and your body aligned. It will actually add to a better and more facilitated mental health you. It will actually enhance your mental health just doing this much, which will then lead to a much better physical you.
Absolutely.
So it's correlated.
You've got to set boundaries. Well, Mel Robbins, I read her 5-Second Rule book recently.
I love Mel Robbins.
Yeah, she keeps her phone in the bathroom. She keeps it plugged in the bathroom overnight so that it can't wake her up. She can't have notifications that go off that distract her from her sleep. And then she does her whole morning routine before she goes and unplugs her phone and checks her overnight notifications. And I don't do that because I have nervousness that there's going to be an emergency and I need to have my phone there if there's an emergency. But I did turn off all my social media notifications. I do not get email alerts on my phone. I don't get Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger alerts on my phone anymore. I get texts and I get phone calls.
Yep.
And that's all you need. If there's an emergency, people have my number at night. And then my security camera will work, obviously.
Yeah.
That's also. But other than that, in the morning, once I get to work, that's when I check my email. I don't even bring my computer home anymore.
Good for you.
And that's when I check the email. And that's when I dedicate that time at work during business hours. Otherwise, it bleeds in, it takes over my whole life, and then I just become a stress monster. I already am a stress monster, but I get even worse.
And I told you what we did. We
24/7.
actually had devices. We're filming on the Island Ships on our iPhone now. We have the iPad.
Yeah.
And all of Fahim's social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everything for Island Ship Center and for Fahim are on these devices, and they stay at work.
Yeah.
And they don't go home with me. So the only thing that comes home with me is my other phone, my private phone, and my LinkedIn notifications, just because of important business stuff. but that's also turned off after 7 p.m. And then at dinner, we are also very, very punctual and very, very strict about making sure that we have no devices on the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
And we bring conversations, we bring entertainment, and one of my mentors taught me, don't talk about homework and mundane stuff and homework for the kids and your work at the dinner table.
Interesting.
Make sure, because you don't want to talk about report
that.
cards, what if someone got a bad one? You know, we have kids, and so we don't want to talk. Let's talk about stuff that we can all talk about. And you know, my mother lives with us, so we have to talk about stuff that is engaging her at 70 plus, and engaging a 22-year-old, and engaging a 17-year-old, and engaging, you know, 29 plus year old. And you know, and it's so you have to find out things. Let's talk about different topics. And also, that's the second thing. And the third thing is, keep it positive. Yeah. You have to make an effort for positivity. Negativity is something that easily comes to the mind and the body. You know, it goes into this slouch. You have to work for positivity. But anything, you know, worth it, you need to work for. Like muscles, exercise, proper body, you got to work for it, and it's painful.
You absolutely do. It's, boy, focusing on the positive is so important, but so hard sometimes. And the more that you are consciously aware of that, the more you identify people or situations that aren't. It's like the glass half full versus the glass half empty kind of mentality. But you can decide to do that. Like, you can look at a situation and be like, okay, here's the silver lining in this. Here's the way I choose to move forward with it. Or you can dwell on oh, this is so terrible and my life's terrible and nothing's good because of this. It's hard, but it can be done. And you can be, if you are happier and if you are more positive, then the people that interact with you, your staff, your coworkers, your clients, everyone that you interact with on a daily basis will be better for it, because they're going to be getting a boost from you instead of a drain from you. And yeah.
What are going to be our final words to whether people here in this room or our audience or looking in the future? What do you want to leave them with as some words of wisdom? We won't call this Wednesday wisdom, even though this is Wednesday. We'll call it
Wednesday
weekly wisdom, so they can repeat it weekly.
I've got to do my Wednesday wisdom Instagram post
okay.
in a minute, but it's during business hours, so I can do that. But I would say, let's recap what we talked about. Authenticity, extremely important. Building a reputation by building relationships. When you're building a business, build the relationships, which builds a reputation. And focus on the positive and try to eliminate those feelings of negativity. It's not that everything is going to be positive in your life, but it means that the things you dwell on and then the things that you share to other people, you're not going to be complaining about the negative things, but you're going to be exclaiming about the positive things, and that will in turn help other people to have a better day, which helps you to have a better day, and it's reciprocal.
And your morning habits actually lead to a better mental health.
Yes.
You're be disciplined about creating positive, proper habits, so they lead to a better you.
Yeah.
Compartmentalize, make sure that you're there 100% focused. So focus, consistency, discipline, growth. That's what I would say.
And what I'm going to take away from this, as you've taught me many times in the past about morning habits, is to have some and work on that better. No, like that's terrible. That is a struggle of mine. That's an absolute struggle. I'm a sleeper, and I have a hard time getting that morning routine down. And it's something that I've been working on, and I want to work on it.
Awesome. Have an awesome day.